Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would show you this attempted combat CV. I got a couple iterations of it. This is like the early work on it. And just to explain what I was trying to accomplish with this, I don't think I've hit it very well, but I was trying to make it look very stealthy. Like a modern gunship, kind of very smooth sides and very angular. So I started out with this, and it's got a funky front end on it. Now, for a combat CV, what I was also trying to do is have this use minimal amounts of thrusters for different directions and have a lot of have a good amount of guns, not like extreme, but a decent amount of guns. So essentially, I started out here and I was trying to have like a single reverse thruster, and well, I don't know if this one had like two big thrusters on the back, and I thought that was going to overkill. So anyway, on the more updated version, quite a bit more updated, this one I sort of worked out a lot more of the body, got all the thrusters in there, got all the primary guns in here, except for like sentry guns and things like that. Got the other parts in here. So what it's doing is it's using a single XL thruster for strafing on either side, a single drive thruster. I call them XLs a lot too, but single drive thruster for reverse and a single drive thruster for forward in the middle. And then for up and down, it has a couple down thrusters here and a couple little ones that are actually going to serve as like decoy thrusters on the nose. Same goes for the lift thrusters. There's a couple more. The core's not going to be there. A couple more on the nose and a couple more back over here for lift thrusts. So with the weapons, right now it's running, let me get the HUD on there, it is running, let's see, here, I will just look at the stat screen here. So it has 10 retractable light plasma turrets, and why they're retractable is, again, it was trying to be like stealthy, so you won't see all the guns. Then it has 4 main battery plasma heavies, which are the big guns here on the side. So 10 and 4 with a single advanced generator. Now inside of this one, I put in some parts to make it kind of work right now. So it does have an advanced warp drive, an advanced shield, a contacted tank, and I think I slapped in a pilot seat and the cores needed to make this operate right now. So the cores on it, it's pretty low on CPU, and that was kind of the goal. I was trying to add a lot of firepower, and not try to go through a lot of CPU. So right now it's a Core 6 at 515,000 using 492 of that. And I could add in the rest of the sentry guns and other things. Basically, I got more CPU. I was planning on this to be starting at a Core 7, in which it can. I can slop in another core block here, and that will raise the CPU up to 620. So now I've got like a whole bunch more CPU. Again, it's going to probably need additional shield parts, long-range radar, some other CPU using parts. So I was kind of planning this out to be like a Core 7 combat CV. Now, its materials are, well, in flux. Basically, I built it currently out of steel. I don't have decoys and stuff in here at this moment in time, but this whole nose would be filled with probably Xeno. And I'm going to use these thrusters that are in here already that are sort of visible to the outside as like decoy thrusters, but I would also need like a decoy, probably launcher and turret built into this nose section here somewhere, and a lot of reinforcing, of course. As in the rest of the ship, I would probably run around with a multi-tool and figure out which blocks I want to upgrade to probably combat steel or hardened steel. It depends. I think I just kind of manually do that. I didn't really know what blocks to use all over the place at the time. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure if I like it, is the problem. Now, something that I've got an issue with, too, is obviously this has no first-person bridge on it right now. I thought about the idea of having some kind of little cockpit thing over here, which you see on a lot of them, but, man, I just don't like the looks of that on this build. I just, so I was thinking about just like third person only for flying it around. I don't know if I like that idea or not. I usually try to have a first person bridge. One other idea, and I don't think it would look great either, is I thought about actually running angling some blocks upward like this, and then having a bridge like sitting back, way in the back of the ship, almost like above and behind the rear thruster. But as I was building this thing, it already got taller than I wanted it to be. I had some issues trying to conceal this thruster in the front there, and I had to like lower down the body more than it originally was. And then I was playing with this idea of having some like landing gear that kind of come out over here, and it kind of sits flush with this thing here. And I obviously haven't built the back of the ship up yet either, but that's kind of the general look of it. Trying to add some different angles in here and get rid of any unneeded blocks. And it would have some room inside. It would probably have a small hangar bay towards the bottom area over here, and then the rest of the parts and stuff would be in here. It wouldn't do much in production, or definitely not any farming. It would have your basic utility stuff, of course, probably a med bay and all that fun stuff, but a lot of other things like production and crafting, it wouldn't have a lot of that. It'd probably have like one or two 320k ammo bays, and that's about it. I mean, I was really trying to just focus this thing on just being a combat CV in the end. Not like a super big extreme one either. Like, you know, you're kind of like, I don't know, lower level combat CV. Obviously not Dreadnought certified or anything like that. So I'll leave that up to the Scarabs. They can take out the Dreadnoughts just fine. But this will be for everything else. I was kidding about the Scarabs, by the way. Just kind of a joke. Yeah, so anyway, that's where I'm at with it. And again, I got to build like all the block work, attaching these like really large weapon bay things here. And then I got to figure out if I want to get rid of the stealthy or a smooth surface idea and start chopping it up a little bit more. There's a couple areas that don't really conform to stealth angles. And stealth angles, from my interpretation of that, it would be like, let's say you have a radar site. Now, this doesn't apply to the game at all. But let's say you had a radar site over here. Your whole point is you don't want to have those beams directly come back to the radar. So, like, even some of the angles I'm running here aren't probably good for that, because it kind of would like reflect radar beams back to a source, especially from below, things like that. So that part's not really working, and it doesn't matter if it works. It was really about trying to make it look like a stealthy, kind of featureless ship from the outside with a lot of angles, basically a lot of big smooth angles. So, but I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'm liking it or not right now. I'm kind of mixed bag. I think it could be fixed, but you know, at the same time, I could, if I wanted to ditch my whole stealth idea thing, I could add a lot more detail in places on the ship. You know, chop things up a little bit more, add in this, that, or the other thing. Right now, I'd be very dependent on however the paint job comes out, if it's going to look all right or not. And because there's not a lot of like little detail things around to give it, like, I don't know, make it look better, basically. And this part here is kind of screwed up too, with the whole thruster. I was trying to figure out how to get the thruster in there, but I got these side panels like this and whatnot. Now in here too, there is some Xeno already. I got Xeno separating these guns, not entirely though. I gotta replace some blocks, and there's an extra row on top here to keep them safe from like the turrets that I put up here and stuff like that. So there'd be like more Xeno packed in these areas. Okay, so one last aspect too is it's pitch, yaw, and roll. Not very happy with those numbers right now. The yaw, not very good. 27, 42 there, and keep in mind it's going to get way heavier than what it is right now too. So that's another aspect that I'm not liking, and a lot of the reason why I'm having these secondary numbers not great, especially with the yaw here. The roll's not super wonderful. The pitch, the yaw's important to me though. That's your turning speed, and it's 27 now. And once this thing is, you know, fully complete, especially with all the armor reinforcing and upgraded blocks and things like that, it would be pathetic at turning. And the reason for that is I'm trying to go with like a single thruster. You know, again, trying to do everything I can to save CPU to have more CPU available for weaponry. And what's, you know, kind of important, but right now its maneuvering is not great, and a lot of that has to do with me trying to use these drive thrusters and just only having one per, like 4 of the 6 directions are using a single drive thruster for that direction. And when you center them like that, you're not getting that range. Like now, I could change this. I could like ditch the single forward thruster and add maybe 2 of the smaller ones, or even 4 of the smaller ones in the back, maybe in these back sections over here. That is a possibility, except it kind of defeats the whole purpose of what I was trying to do, of keeping it all cheap on CPU and really, really efficient for what it's, you know, trying to be designed to, for what it's for, basically. Trying to be pretty much a dedicated, smaller size combat CV, and it's not very big either. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But if you got any recommendations or comments on things, I guess things I'm curious in comments is, should I just try to make it look prettier and don't worry about the angular stealth like body sort of, and also I don't know, maybe I should just, you know, scrap the idea of having single thrusters like in all these directions. It's really good for CPU though. The amount of thruster actual performance you get versus how much CPU you're spending on it is pretty decent. Now these are all ion thrusters too, so I mean obviously you could upgrade them to plasma and antimatter beyond the fact, and really soup those up. And maybe this one should just have some plasma thrusters on it stock. That would probably help a lot with its pitch, yaw, and roll, and of course give it a little bit higher speed and motion as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's an attempt. I wanted to try something a little bit different than before, and I guess one of the things I don't particularly like about trying to build combat CVs, I mean, you need them in game. It's just I'm so sick of having to have this, you know, in the front there. It's like I don't really want to make a ship look like this. This ship I think could look really, really cool if it was skinnied up a little bit, like it wasn't so bulky here, and it actually had like a bridge that was at the front, you know, with glass and like your front window and everything. It would be a little bit, I don't know, I think it would look a little better that way. But yeah, that's the thing with combat ships is and stuff like that. It's like you don't want to be up here, because that's gonna be like decoy zone. You got to have your bridge like somewhere else or just hidden and buried. And it is kind of nice to be able to fly these things in first person too, you know. And that's, yeah, obviously, again, I could fit a bridge over here too. I mean, I could plop one down somewhere in this area here, and you'd be probably work all right too. But I just kind of want to show you where I'm at with this thing, and it's been taking longer than I thought, and a lot of revisions, and then it's like I haven't really hit it where it's like, oh, I really like that. You know, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I was trying something different with the front, trying to have this like triangle feature here, and all like angled and smooth around the sides, and then I was like, well, I don't need to bulk it out in this area, so I kind of went with a little bit thinner of a neck, and I was like, hey, let's put the reverse thruster here. So I don't know. It's just it's a weird ship. It's kind of a weird build. It may work. It's just one of the things is thruster performance. Now, the last thing I want to do before I end this video is just I'm sure a lot of you are like, why don't you try some RCS? And I'm curious. I'm curious on RCS. Now, RCS, as far as I know, work the best around the center of mass. So somewhere right in about that area would be estimated center of mass. You know, though, we can actually turn that on if it decides it wants to work. Okay, so center of mass is here. Yeah, I guess it's been working pretty good lately on center of mass. So let's see here. I'm gonna get rid of some of these. Okay, so we got 3 RCS at center of mass. I got to look at the numbers before I did this, but you can see I added a little bit of like y'all. But I also, let's see how much each one of these advanced RCSs are 10,000 CPU that I'm just throwing in the drain by adding these things. I'd rather invest that in more thrusters, I think, than these RCS units. If I put in another 4, just curious. Yeah, it went up a little bit more. So I mean, it does help some, but now I've got 6 of them in, so 60,000 CPU and RCS. Versus the CPU required for advanced thrusters, I guess 9,600 a piece. They do a lot more though. Plus they help you move. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this thing. Maybe my design idea is kind of bunk, and I should just go with not, you know, at least 2 thrusters per direction on this build. I was just trying to save the CPU. And if I go with all XL thrusters, it's like totally overkill. Like even on this one over here, which has 2 XL thrusters on the back of it, or the drive thrusters. I mean, it doesn't need that much, you know, forward thrust. At least, you know, I don't think it would, unless it gets really, really heavy. So it's kind of like overkill, but then if you go down to the next model down, then there's so much less thrust power there versus the CPU cost. Like these are 9600 CPU, and they tell me thruster force 64.8 versus let's see, well, 24,000 CPU. So I guess it is about 3 times more, but you're doing 150. No, I'm sorry, wrong number. 186 versus 64. I don't know. I always thought it was the best bang for the buck going with the drive thrusters, but I'm looking at the CPU versus the amount of thrust they make, and you need about 3 of these. Let's see, yeah, about 1,800. Yeah, about 3 of these versus 1 of these. But these cost, I guess they're a little bit cheaper on CPU, where it would cost me just under 30,000 CPU. Well, minus 1,200, about 28,800 or something like that. And this would, so yeah, maybe I will go that route. And change this all around again. Or at least try it with the back. But yeah, I definitely don't want to waste CPU on RCS if I don't have to. So anyway, I just wanted to show you where I'm at with this thing. I know I was going to do a video yesterday, but it wasn't really ready, and I was kind of pissed at it. And I thought I would run it by you guys, see what you thought. see if you got any ideas or recommendations. Again, my target goal is to have this fully functional as a Core 7 with some pretty good hitting power. With the weapons. Now, even on the weapons on here, it's only going to have one kind of launcher. So when you're running around firing, it's using one kind of launcher. I'm not going to have multiple types of launchers. And it has only one kind of turret on here. And I've been kind of going all with the plasma because they can do both hull and shield damage. So you don't have to like switch weapons to go to like a laser weapon to work on the shields and then switch over to something else to hit the hull. You just basically engage the target. All the turrets on here are plasma as well, so they'll help take down the shield. And then you could be actively shooting at it as well with the big guns to try to get that shield down right away. And then once the shield's down, the plasma is pretty hard hitting on the hull, so you're kind of all set there. And keep in mind, it would probably also have like 10, 12 sentry guns throughout the build. I have not added those anywhere yet. They're pretty easy to fit though. So not a big deal getting a lot of sentry guns on here. And as in the, again, the retractable turrets was really trying to be stealthy. Trying to go with that overall look and kind of conceal most all the guns. I can't really do much about these big honking things over here. I could try to back them up a little bit more, but I got thrusters there. I do have like a barrier, xenoblock barrier between these guns and the thrusters, and I'll try to like keep it kind of tough so you don't get a lot of chain reaction explosions or anything like that. But yeah, that's where I'm at. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Let me know what you think. I will be streaming later on today at 3, though, continuing the Anvil Season 11 playthrough and try to get some more upgrades and stuff done. Other than that, y'all have yourself a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.